Let's rank some power forwards today. Today we're on a mission to find out who is the best power forward in the NBA. As I have with the other positions, I'm ranking these based off of not just talent and performance, but also how I think the team feels about their situation going into next season in particular. And I was a little bit surprised looking at this power forward position. A lot of young guys with upside, some solid pros, and a bunch of talent at the top. Like, subscribe, and let's do it. At 30, give me Santi Aldama with the Memphis Grizzlies. This was the Gigi Jackson spot before the news broke that he broke his foot the other day. I have a feeling the internet is going to want to move Jaren Jackson to the 4 and start Zach Edey, but I am very much not in that camp personally. Aldama has good size at nearly 7 feet tall, shoots 35% from 3, and he's only turning 24. In some ways, he might actually be the perfect plug-and-play guy next to the Grizzlies' core that's all coming back together next year. At 29, Patrick Williams with the Bulls. Yes, Patrick Williams has been disappointing for a top 5 pick since he got to Chicago. But hope isn't lost. He's only 23, he has shot 40% from 3 the past 2 seasons, and the Bulls are finally leaning rebuild it seems, and they should be playing him, Giddey, and White all the developmental minutes that they can possibly handle. At 28, I've got Caleb Martin with the Sixers. From playing an undersized power forward role on one Eastern Conference team to another one, Caleb Martin is just one of the many wings that the Sixers prioritized this offseason. He's certainly not the biggest name among them, but the fit should be good, and there should be enough big wings around him that they can be super versatile at that spot. Speaking of that other Eastern Conference team, at 27, let's go Jaime Jaquez with the Heat. I might still be sleeping on Jaquez just a little bit. He had a solid rookie year. It wasn't overwhelming by any means, but he was ready to be a pro from day one. Let's find out what growth there might be beyond that. At 26, how about Dorian Finney-Smith with the Nets? Will Dorian Finney-Smith be on the Nets at the deadline? There's no way, right? He might not even be there at the start of the season. The longest rumored deal of the summer that hasn't gotten done seems to be a sign and trade with Cleveland swapping he and Isaac Okoro, but it hasn't gotten done. He's not been the shooter he appeared to be early in his Dallas career, but he still has a reputation as a solid 3-and-D versatile wing type. In short, he's a good trade target playing on a team that's tanking. For number 25, I'm going to go Nick Batum with the Clippers. Batum is the ultimate ball mover who seems like he's been in the league for about 100 years, but he's a competent NBA player who isn't going to replace Paul George in any way, but he won't hurt the Clippers when he's in the lineup either. For 24, I'm going to go Jeremy Sohan with the Spurs. Well, we can be certain of one thing. Jeremy Sohan is not a point guard. But what is he? And I'm not really sure if we're certain on that yet. He's just kind of good at a bunch of stuff. He's a good dirty work kind of guy. He also can't shoot, and I have no idea how he fits next to Wemby in a pick and roll, pick and pop heavy offense that we can assume the Spurs are going to deploy with Chris Paul coming to town. Harrison Barnes might actually end up taking this spot just for the fit and then letting Sohan just run around and do a bunch of stuff with the second unit. For 23, I'm going to go Jabari Smith Jr. with the Rockets. After seemingly locating his three-point jumper in year 2, I'm really curious what next year's going to look like for Jabari Smith. The Rockets have a lot to look forward to, and he's towards the top of that list in my opinion. For 22, I'm going to go with the Mavs' PJ Washington. The highest plus-minus on the Mavs last year, PJ Washington was a big reason for their turnaround in the second half of the season, as well as that playoff run. Yet, he's pretty underrated on the internet. He's just going to be good. At 21, how about the Blazers' Jeremy Grant? Why is Jeremy Grant still in Portland? Can anyone answer that question? I cannot. But as long as he is, they've got a nice 30-year-old 3-and-D versatile wing. He's going to probably miss some time due to an injury and tankitis until they finally do trade him, like they probably should have before the ink could dry on that contract. For number 20, I'm going to go Keegan Murray with the Kings. Keegan Murray regressed as a three-point shooter in his second year in the league. He did still improve in other areas, though. And with the arrival of DeRozan in Sacramento, I think the Kings are going to need Murray to regain that 41% three-point stroke from his rookie year, like really badly, for them to reach the ceiling that they're hoping to. For 19, I've got the Charlotte Hornets' Miles Bridges. The dude's got a lot of issues off the court and plenty of reasons for you not to root for him as a human, but on the court, as a basketball player, he's good at it. For number 18, how about the Detroit Pistons? Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris isn't a max player, okay? We've known that for a while, but what he is a very competent NBA player who plays power forward, and he's an experienced pro, and he's an adult. Something that the Pistons have not had in their building for what seems like forever at this point. Maybe since the last time they had Tobias Harris. He's not going to turn them into contenders, but I do think he's going to help them turn into a real NBA team, and that should be a really exciting idea after the disaster that was basketball in Detroit last year. For 17, I've got the Atlanta Hawks' Jalen Johnson. If Jalen Johnson never becomes more than the electric rim runner and lob catcher that he was last season, that's probably fine. He's next to a perfect partner for that in Trae Young to throw him those lobs, and by the way, he's also only turning 23, so there might be more growth there. At 16, give me Kyle Kuzma with the Wizards. Reports at the deadline were that Kuzma essentially blocked a trade to the Mavs last year so that he could just keep scoring 20 a night for a bottom feeder. To me, that's not a glowing recommendation for his character. But you know what it does mean? He's going to keep scoring 20 a night for a bottom feeder. At 15, I've got the Golden State Warriors' Draymond Green. Draymond has sort of been a nightmare for the Warriors. His temper and lack of control has actively hurt the franchise. But he's still effective and absolutely essential for the way that they want to play basketball on the court, particularly how Steph wants to play. And he quietly shot 39.5% from three last year. And you know he's going to get those looks wide open. For number 14, give me Aaron Gordon with the Nuggets. The amount of comments I got when I said that the Nuggets had the best trio in the league because of how well Gordon, Jokic, and Murray have complemented each other while being contenders was, let's call it, surprising. On his own, of course, Gordon is not a superstar. He's not the guy that you build around. But he is an amazing third or fourth offensive option, and playing off of Jokic seems to be the rare case of a player finding the perfect role in the perfect situation to complement literally everything that they do well. For number 13, give me Zion with the Pelicans. Zion, it's hard to really even talk about the guy at this point. We've seen him be dominant, but that's kind of been a little while. He had his healthiest season of his career last year. It also came with a regression in just about every statistical category. Not that you wouldn't take 23, 6, and 5 from your power forward in almost every case. There's always just something about Zion that just leaves you wishing and wanting more. At 12, give me Jalen Williams from the OKC Thunder. J-Dub didn't have the greatest showing in the playoffs, but he just seems like a dude who's going to take that experience and learn from it. He's still only 23, going into year 3, as a main piece on what's likely to be the top seed in the West. It's not going to be super flashy, but it is going to be really, really good. At 11, I've got Scotty Barnes with the Raptors. The Raptors are all in on Scotty Barnes, and why not? He was Rookie of the Year, he made his first All-Star game last year as an injury replacement, and I don't know if he's got the game to build a contender around, but we're going to find out after Toronto essentially cleared the way for him last year. Let's just see what he does with it. To kick off the top 10, I've got Evan Mobley with the Cavs. Will this be the year that Mobley takes that offensive leap? Will Kenny Atkinson be able to unlock the potential that Cavs fans have been dreaming about in him since draft night? I don't know. But his dominant defensive ability is enough to be top 10 at his position. From there, we'll just see what happens. At 9, Lauri Markkanen with the Jazz. I'm actually kind of bummed that Markkanen got extended. Not because he doesn't deserve to get paid or because I'm not interested in what he can do in Utah, but because they're nowhere near competing in the West, and I wanted to see him go be a swing piece on a contender. Still, he's one of several dudes I like on the Jazz, and it'll be an excuse to watch him on League Pass. At 8, I've got Paolo Banchero with the Magic. The Magic have a lot to be excited about, and Paolo is at the very top of the list. Year 1, Rookie of the Year. Year 2, All-Star. Year 3, who knows? But it's going to be a lot of fun to find out. At 7, I'm going with Karl Anthony Towns with the Timberwolves. If you gave me a choice between Paolo and Cat, I'm taking Paolo. But I think specifically for the Wolves, how they're built and what they need, Cat is super important. He stretches the floor like few big men ever have, and he actually has a nice two-man game with Gobert. You don't want him going into full-on takeover mode if you can help it, but he's still a really good offensive player, and he plays a key defensive role in certain matchups, particularly with the Nuggets. At 6, give me the Knicks, Julius Randle. Hey, did you know that Julius Randle's made All-NBA before? Just making sure, since my comments have been filled with Randle defenders since I said that Brunson and Bridges was now the top duo in New York. I still don't know if the Knicks are going to trade away Randle. Now that they've gone like all in on versatile wings and Villanova grads, I'm just not quite sure how Randle is going to fit into that front court. But as long as he's healthy, he's going to be a bucket, he's going to get double-doubles, and he's going to be playing power forward. So 6 on the list feels right. Jumping into the top 5, give me Pascal Siakam with the Pacers. These were Siakam's numbers after he was traded to the Pacers. 21 points a game, 8 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists on 55% from the field, 38% from 3, and still shooting 70 from the free throw line. I can't tell you how excited I am for him to have a full offseason in Indy working with Tyrese Halliburton, and just to see how crazy productive he could be next year in that run and gun offense playing with one of the best facilitators on the planet. At 4 for me, it's Kevin Durant with the Suns. KD is still KD. He's a little bit more mid-range pull-up heavy these days, but he's still lethal from there. He's still a 7-foot bucket who's as good of a shooter that exists in the league. Do I think he's going to play 75 games again this year? No, but it's really encouraging that he did last year. And until I see otherwise, I'm just going to assume he's going to be great. At number 3, I've got LeBron James with the Lakers. Part of me hopes that LeBron drops the hair dye and just lets that beard go all gray, just to have the visual of the old man still dominating this league. Yes, he's turning 40. Yes, the Lakers have done a poor job building around him and AD. But LeBron is still the best on the planet on any given night, and I'm going to appreciate that every chance I can while I can. For number 2, give me Jason Tatum from the Celtics. I thought one of the guys from the Deep 3 podcast posed this question kind of perfectly when he was on the Athletic NBA show. Forgive me, I can't remember which one it was, but the gist of it was this. Has anyone ever won a title and their reputation got worse? I've seen it twice. KD with the Warriors, and now Jason Tatum. It's incredible. Between Jaylen Brown getting the playoff awards and the way that the Olympics went, this dude just won a title and a gold medal, and I feel like he needs a win. So here, how about second best power forward going into next season? That's the best I can do. For the top spot, give me Giannis Antetokounmpo with the Bucks. Last year was a weird year for Giannis. He and Dame didn't really gel playing together. He seemingly ran a coach out of town, one that he reportedly had vouched for in the first place. He had some weird drama over game balls. He got hurt for the playoffs, and the team might have been the most off vibe weird 3 seed in my NBA watching lifetime. But it's still Giannis. He's still 30-11, an MVP candidate who will also get Defensive Player of the Year votes. And he's just now turning 30. The rest of the team may be aging pretty rough around him, and I'm not sure how his game is going to go as he ages, but we shouldn't have to worry about that yet. Going into next year, he's just the top guy at the power forward position. All right, that's my list. Let me know in the comments who you think feels best about their power forward situation going into next season. And while you're down there, go ahead and like the video so that YouTube knows it doesn't suck. Subscribe to the channel so that I know you want me to keep making them. And while I'm making them, go ahead and watch one of these.